The United States of America is breaking apart. Cities are divided. Families argue at their dinner tables. And across the country, brother prepares to fight brother. But here is the chilling question. What if the United States had actually split into two countries forever? It sounds impossible today, but in 1861, it almost happened. The young nation was about to enter the bloodiest conflict in its history, the American Civil War. For 4 long years, the survival of America itself would be uncertain. For decades, tension had been quietly growing. Then, in 1860, a new president was elected, Abraham Lincoln. Many Southern leaders feared Lincoln would end slavery forever. So one by one, Southern states made a shocking decision. They left the United States. A new nation was formed, the Confederate States of America. America was no longer united. It had become two nations preparing for war. April 12, 1861. Before sunrise, cannons roar across Charleston Harbor. Confederate forces attack a Union fort. The Civil War has begun. Two very different Americas were emerging. In the North, factories, railroads, and growing cities. In the South, vast plantations built on enslaved labor. At the center of it all stood one explosive question. Could a nation founded on liberty continue to allow slavery? Political debates turned bitter. Trust between states began to disappear. At first, many believed the war would last only weeks. They were terribly wrong. Battles erupted across fields, rivers, and towns. Young soldiers marched proudly into war, but what they soon experienced was horror beyond imagination. Gunfire, explosions, and endless rows of fallen soldiers. By the end of the war, more than 600,000 Americans would be dead. Ask yourself this: how could one nation fight itself so brutally? Because this war was about more than territory. It was about freedom, power, and the future of America itself. By 1863, the war seemed endless. Both sides were exhausted. Then came a battle that would change everything. In a small town in Pennsylvania, two massive armies collided. The Battle of Gettysburg. For 3 terrifying days, soldiers clashed in one of the bloodiest battles in American history. Cannons thundered across the hills. Smoke filled the sky. Thousands of men fell where they stood. But when the battle finally ended, the Confederate Army, led by Robert E. Lee, was forced to retreat. It was a devastating loss for the South. From this moment on, the tide of the war began to turn. 2 years later, the war finally reached its end. The Union Army, commanded by Ulysses S. Grant, defeated the Confederate forces. The United States remained one nation. Slavery was abolished. But victory came with a terrible price. Cities were destroyed, families were shattered, and more than 500,000 Americans had lost their lives. The Civil War had saved the nation, but it had also changed it forever. And one haunting question still lingers in history. What if the war had ended differently? What if America had truly split into two rival nations? History took one path, but for a brief moment, the United States came closer than ever to disappearing forever.